If you're looking to find out how the image will look like if you were to mount a 27mm f1.2 Viltrox APS-C lens onto a full-frame camera like Sony A7Cii Mark II, this is the video for you. The video that you're looking at, guess which lens or the camera that I'm using. If you have guessed it is Sony A7Cii Mark II with 27mm f1.2, yeah, you're right. Look at all this glorious vignetting around me. Yeah, I zoomed in a bit so that you could see how it actually looks. You have the flexibility to zoom in. Yes, when I use the clear image zoom, which you will see it in a bit, you get all the glory of this kind of a frame. I will be activating the active image stabilization as well, but you can only achieve this with 24 frames per second. Mind you, you cannot record this way in 60 frames per second, unfortunately. The image quality differences we will check in a different video. I need to put it in the computer and analyze a lot. But for this video, we are going to talk everything about the perspective between the 27mm lens and the 35mm lens right over here when mounted on Sony A7C II and Sony A6700, which I'll be showing in a bit. So this is with the standard image stabilization. There is not much of a crop, but I wanted to say that you please check out the background bokeh from all these lightings around me. This is the video with the active image stabilization mode on. This is the frame that you get. It's a bit cropped. This is 1.15x crop, so this is the framing you get. This is 27mm f1.2 lens at 1.2 mounted on a full frame camera with active image stabilization and clear image zoom enabled to a total crop factor of 1.3x. This is unbelievably great. I like it. I like the look of it, but I cannot use it all the time. Alright, that's my frustration, okay? So you can see how it zooms in, you can see how it frames and all, you can see how the bokeh is. Now I have mounted the 35mm f1.8 lens on the Sony A7Cii Mark II. Now this is 27mm f1.2 lens and you can see the full frame bokeh monstrosity, yeah? So beautiful, right? I'm going a bit back and you can see doesn't have as much bokeh as the 27mm. I like both the images. Both are good in their own ways and I wouldn't mind interchangeably using them. But honestly, if I were to use it for a very long time, I would rather use the 35mm f1.8 lens rather than the 27 f1.2 unless I want the background to be obliterated. Before we move on to our next camera, Sony A6700, I want to show you this. Look at this unbelievable bokeh. My finger is inches away from the lens and you can see how great and awesome the bokeh is. It's unbelievable. So this is the bokeh monstrosity you get out of this 27mm f1.2 lens. This is the image you get from Sony A6700 without any active image stabilization or the clear image zoom engaged. So this is how it looks and can see it's very narrow. It's a very narrow field of view and the bokeh is still great. I don't say it's not great. Like you can see I can create a similar kind of bokeh as the full frame bokeh, but I wouldn't say you get the beauty of the full frame compared to the APS-C. Now I'm shooting with 24 frames per second and not 60 frames per second because I want to make an apple to apples comparison, and this is how it looks. I think it's great. If I'm not comparing, you wouldn't notice the difference at all. In the past, I have made several videos with this combination until I got my Sony A7Cii Mark II, so you would never notice the difference between these two cameras unless I mention it. This is with the active image stabilization engaged, and I don't know if you can see the difference. It is cropped in tighter. There's a bit more zoom to it. So yeah, this is like 1.15x crop again on the image to stabilize actively, which you don't need to engage for this kind of videos, of course. But if you were to engage or if you were to accidentally leave it on, this is the kind of crop you get. And yeah, I think it looks great. I don't mind any of these, alright. Okay, now we are extremely zoomed in. If you were to take a close-up shot, this is how it looks like. And yeah, obviously it's too close, 50mm compared to the 35 and 40mm equivalent in the past. And obviously I think people would prefer the wider field of view. Before we leave, I want to mention that this is just the beginning of the tests I perform. There are gonna be high ISO performance tests coming up between these two cameras. There are gonna be frame rate tests. They're going to be photo comparison tests, and there's like much more tests I want to bring to the table for my audience who want to compare these two cameras and which one to go with. So please stay tuned to the channel, subscribe, click on the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I'm releasing my next video about these cameras and lenses. And thank you for watching the video. Peace.